everybody, welcome to Wednesday night. I'm a few minutes late. I've been at a first home buyers seminar tonight and I've just raced in the door just now, so thank you for bearing with me. Tonight I was at a really great community initiative. It was with a local builder, Peta Homes, and also one of our local credit unions around here, WAW Credit Union. And it was a bit of a joint venture that they're doing to help first home buyers get into the market. And I was there providing some legal advice to first home buyers it can be really overwhelming and confronting and not knowing what to do when you are buying and selling and your first home and where to go. So there was just a really good team of us there to just really give some great information for people that are looking to build their first home. And one point that I wanted to go over with you all tonight is really about genuine savings. So we all know that when you're going to buy your first home or build your first home, you've really got to have some great savings. And one thing we spoke about tonight is that what we call genuine savings, and that's what the banks are looking at for these days. And so it's actually that they can see, money going into your account every single week between 3 to 6 months that you're putting that money away. And it works two ways. It's not only the bank saying that you can afford to be able to service a loan, but it gives you peace of mind knowing, look, if I've been able to put that much money into an account after 6 months, I know I can afford to pay a mortgage. Now, sometimes people get to situations where they might get gifts from family or inheritance, and often parents are helping them out with loans and going guarantor. That's not actually genuine savings. Hi, Bianca. Thanks for jumping on. I've just got home to my lovely clean house. Thank you to Bianca and their team. So genuine savings is actually putting that money in the bank every single week. That's the real main thing that you need to think about. It's crucial, it's important, and genuine savings doesn't include bonuses that you might get from your footy club, money that your parents might give you. They might be giving you 10 grand. It doesn't include the first homeowners grant. So you can't actually use the first homeowners grant as what's called genuine savings. The bank actually needs to see you put money in your account. Now, what I see is that a lot of first home buyers, when they're starting to make a plan, it's really hard to make a plan unless you can actually see it. And you can have an exact plan that you can attach to. All too often I see first home buyers start to save money. They get a fair bit of money, but they're still so far away from their end goal that they might decide to buy a new car, or they go on an overseas holiday, and it actually sets them back. So what I really recommend is, if you are not sure, make an appointment to see your local banker, your local mortgage broker, and put a plan in place. That doesn't cost you any money. And they can actually say to you, okay, you earn X amount of dollars. You need to put this amount into an account every single week. Then if you come back in 6 months, we should be able to give you a loan if everything's on those correct terms. And it's having that exact plan so that you don't have to make any guesses. That's going to make the key difference. And there's a lot of things like that today. So tonight, some of the first home buyers were asking around questions like, what if I have a credit card? Should I put my savings on that first to get rid of it? What if I've got a personal loan for a car? Should I pay that off first or just pay the minimum and keep paying my savings? They're only answers that a banker or a lender can really help you. No credit cards, 100%. That's actually what Paul from WOW was speaking about today, saying that credit cards are bad debt. But for instance, sometimes personal loans can actually penalize you if you were to pay them off early. So that's where you need to sit down with a really good banker, mortgage broker, and make a plan that's going to set you up. Remembering it's got to be genuine savings. And you know what? If you want to get into the great Australian dream of owning your own house or building your own house, you got to make some sacrifice. it doesn't need to be that big a deal though. It can be simple things like, instead of going to the movies on a Saturday, we only go to the movies on a Tuesday when it's cheaper. Instead of getting Indian takeaway, you decide to get, I don't know, fish and chips. It's about going to Aldi instead of just shopping at Coles. It's just tiny little changes, tiny little sacrifices that can set you up for the rest of the life. And the good thing is these small changes become habits, and those habits will set you up financially for the rest of your life. You know what they say, the more you earn, the more you spend. But if you've got really good foundation principles in creating those genuine savings to be able to get into your first home, you're setting yourself up for life. To be honest, you know, obviously it's my industry, doing the legal work for buying and selling houses, but it is true. I do think it is the great Australian dream is to own your own place, to be somewhere where you can have a beer on a Friday night and know that the money you're paying every week is paying off debt and paying something, your greatest asset for your future. It's not as easy as it used to be to get money. When I bought my very first home was about 2003. I'm showing my age now. And I bought a little 2-bedroom unit with my partner at the time. And it was so much easier to get money then. Like, ridiculous. And that's why we have all these problems with the Royal Commission and people that couldn't buy the houses. So it is tough to get money now, but for a first home buyer, that strictness actually works in your favor. It means that you have set a budget, you know that you're not committing to something that the bank doesn't believe that you can repay. All right? So genuine savings, it means actually putting money into an account every week. There is no way you can trick a bank anymore. They actually go right through your statement and they check everything. And if they see a regular payment coming out to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they want to know what that's for. They want to know how much your gym fees are that are coming out every week, how much you're spending on your hair and nails, all of those things. They're going to go through it with a fine tooth comb. So be careful, make smart choices, but most of all, sit down with a professional. Sit down with your banker, with your mortgage broker, and just work out a plan. Stick it on the fridge and know that that is your non-negotiables, that in your savings account, you're going to put that much in and that's it. GJ Gardner, need to save 10%, dealing with one now, and they only have 5%. It's very hard. This is true. Generally, 5% is the minimum that you can get away with, but it's kind of 5% plus lender's mortgage insurance, plus other costs, things like that. So it can really add up. There's no doubt about it. There are some lenders that will still loan at 5%, but you are 100% right. It is harder. So as a rule of thumb, the more money you have saved, the easier it is to get a loan. It's simple as that. The more money that you can throw into a loan and that you present to the table, or what we call a deposit, the more you've got there, the far greater you are at getting a loan. And also, the lower your fees, because you don't have to pay as much what we call lender's mortgage insurance. Genuine savings, the more savings you have, the better. And it doesn't happen overnight. Getting a loan for your very first loan, you know, honestly, it's nothing to think that it's a year process. You need to be thinking about things like this a year or two out. If you want to make good financial decisions, you need to start thinking about them. You can get a loan in 3 months, 6 months worth of savings, but you need to start thinking about your spending habits that far in advance, setting yourself up, because interest rates aren't going to stay as low as they are right now. So although you may be able to service a $400,000 loan right now, when interest rates go up, and they have to go up, who knows when that's going to happen, but they are going to go up at some stage, you're going to be able to handle it a little bit more. Okay, genuine savings, putting money in an account, having a plan, sticking to it no matter what, that is your main things. Hi Paul, thanks for jumping on. I was just talking about genuine savings. Paul was at the event tonight that we were talking to first home buyers, and I thought one of the common topics that we were talking about was genuine savings. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what that really means, and that making sure that you've got a plan, putting that money in your account, going to the movies on a cheaper night, you know, not spending so much money on petrol. I know people that actually will move home for 6 months so that they can put as much money in their savings. They're not paying rent at the same time. We have all made those sacrifices to be able to get into our first home. And if we're going to get real, for me, when I was with my partner at the time and we wanted to get our first home, we actually sold a car, and we had only one car and used to ride push bikes or walk, or we used to just courier each other with one car for a year to make sure that we could save enough money. That's what we did. We moved in with my brother, paid minimal rent, sold one car. I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning to drop him off at work. I would come home and study, and I would go to work. We would tag team again. These are just the things that you've got to do to sacrifice to get yourself in the right position and set yourself up for life. Everybody's got to do it, okay? That's it for me for Wednesday. I'm going to go have some dinner. It's good to see you all, and I'll be back next Wednesday. Thanks for joining, gang.